Hello, my name is Ed DeMarco. I'm a visiting professor here at the Owen School of Management. It's a real honor to be a visiting professor here at Owen. I am helping continue a 40-year tradition of offering the seminar in monetary and fiscal policy at Owen. This seminar was started by Professor Dewey Dane, and over these years, Professor Dane has run this seminar with a set of guest speakers from Washington and other places, speakers who have been at the top levels of government or are experts in their field in monetary policy, fiscal policy, and the operation of the country's financial markets. So I'm pleased to work with Professor Dane in continuing to offer this seminar to our students here at Owen. Our first speaker this term is Donald Kohn. It's a great privilege to have Don back here with the Owen students in this seminar. Don served for 40 years in the Federal Reserve System. 14 of those years he was the head of the Division of Monetary Affairs. In his last 8 years at the Federal Reserve, he was a member of the Board of Governors. In the last 4 of those was vice chairman of the board, working with Ben Bernanke during the financial crisis. So Don, welcome back to Owen. It's great to have you here.
It's great to be back, Ed. It's great to have another opportunity to talk to these terrific students.
Yeah, so you've been here a number of times before. Right. You've known Professor Dane, Dewey Dane, for many years, and these students. So tell me something about your association with Professor Dane and with this class.
Okay. Professor Dane and I share a common background in the Federal Reserve. In fact, common in the sense that we both started at reserve banks. Professor Dane at Chicago and Richmond, I think, and then went to the Board of Governors, and I started at the Kansas City Fed and went to the Board of Governors. We never actually overlapped at the Board of Governors, but we saw each other at conferences and things. And somewhere after he started this course, he invited me to come and give a presentation and has invited me back since then. It's been great working with him. Here's a guy that embodies a huge piece of the history of the Federal Reserve. It's wonderful for me to be able to talk to him and get his perspective on not only history but current events. And it's most terrific to be able to interact with these students. I've found the Owen students to be bright, engaged, knowledgeable, terrific questions, and just stimulates me to be able to have this interaction with them.
Well, that's great. Well, now, speaking of history, you certainly lived through quite a bit of history when you were on the Board of Governors during the financial crisis. So as you meet with the students today and talk about some of those experiences, what are a few of the key takeaways you're hoping that they get from this discussion?
So a couple of the things I hope they get are, number one, the importance of the Federal Reserve's objectives that are given to it by Congress. So the Congress said to the Fed, we want you to produce price stability and we want you to produce high employment. And those are our guiding lights. Mm-hmm. So we were always trying to engineer the economy into producing those things that Congress told us to produce. But we got into a situation that was absolutely unprecedented in the U.S. That is, one way of fighting recessions and putting people back to work is to lower interest rates. The Fed controls a very short-term overnight interest rate. Lower that to zero, or lower that, hope that stimulates the economy. Well, we got to a situation where that was at zero.
Right.
So now we were in a very deep recession, a very serious problem. Inflation was low and going perhaps into deflationary territory. Unemployment was very high. So what do we do now to stimulate the economy? So we said we can't lower those short-term rates anymore. We have to operate on intermediate and long-term rates, different parts of the yield curve, different parts of the financial sector to produce some of the same things. So I think giving them an understanding of the very serious situation, the fact it was unprecedented, but the actions that we took had their basis in previous studies, for example, what had been done in Japan or what people thought the Japanese should be doing more of, and had their basis in the analysis built on the analysis of what ordinarily happens, but you have to innovate. You have to try new things to do things. So the idea of innovating and trying new things, but based on study, a framework, a structure that you understand.
Right. Very good. Well, those actions were truly extraordinary, but they did incredible things to help stabilize the economy and give it a foundation upon which to recover. Students are going to benefit greatly from this discussion today. Thank you so much for being here, Tom.
It's great to be here.
Great to have you. Thank you.
Thank you.